Sydney Sweeney, okay? As you guys know, we're big fans of Sydney Sweeney. The problem is Sydney Sweeney is a real human being. And when you're a real human being, sometimes you're not going to be under horrible light. You're not going to look the same as you do on the cover of a magazine. Sydney Sweeney shows off bikini body lounging outside a $13 million Florida Keys mansion. And this guy actually responded to this, and I didn't even like his response either. But he's referencing like all of the people that were like, what the fuck? Like all women are catfishes. Like what the fuck? Like this is crazy. It's really crazy how like 85 to 95% of men can't seem to figure out that 80% of what they find attractive is painstakingly, carefully curated presentation, 10% plastics and filler, and about 10% base model female. As soon as the presentation isn't carefully curated, they get turned off and confused. And Emily Sears is correct, by the way. This is broad daylight and absolute most unflattering lighting possible. Give her a break. Like, Sydney Sweeney is incredibly attractive. Like, she is fine as hell. Like, I don't know how else to describe it. Awooga, you know what I mean? But the way that like people respond to this shit, is so fucking crazy. Like, we need to sedate the masses. You know what I mean? Like, you need a sedative immediately. If you look at this photo and you're like, this is all women are catfishes. The question is to what degree? Like, you look at these photos and you think, oh, gross. You're a freak. Okay? Do you not have mothers? Do you not have sisters? Have you never been around a woman? Do you not understand that, like, of course, people are not going to always look their best, their very best? And she still looks fantastic here. I don't understand it. Like, have these guys forgotten what real human beings look like? Now, the reason why I'm saying, do you not have a mom or a sister or a cousin or something, is because I know they don't have girlfriends. Okay? I know they do not have girlfriends, because if they ever had girlfriends, they would know that, yeah, of course, someone being dolled up is going to look different than when, you know, they're waking up in the morning. And it doesn't even matter. It's not even saying, I'm not even saying that, like, oh, when you're not dolled up to your very best, when you're maxed out with the best lighting possible, like, that's the only time you look fuckable and great or whatever. Like, you're a fucking freak. Just be a human being. Be a normal human being. What the hell is wrong with people? And obviously, the real academic, not to get super like academic on this, but the real reasons as to why people feel this way is because, one, their society just like automatically slots women, patriarchy, automatically slots women into objects of desire who are fuckable and only good for that, or completely worthless. And it's insane. It's fucking insane. It's an unrealistic depiction of Sydney Sweeney here. She's obviously catfishing. Where's the lens flare reflecting off the perspiration on her titties like that Korea sword game? Yeah. I feel like most men who act like this, I've never been in a position to wake up next to a woman in the morning. Have never been in a position. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, just like capital G gamers, these people expect every person and everything to cater to the taste and expectations. They just don't understand what's the matter with the way she looks. There's no issue with the way she looks. It's just that she doesn't look like the last time this guy jerked off to her. That's it. That's the thing that they're frustrated by. They're like, they don't understand how like a physical body works. They don't understand that like you can bulk up for a specific role as an actress. They don't understand that, like, you know, a creep shot in broad fucking daylight is not going to look the same. But this works in every facet of our lives. This is why so many people at early ages develop body dysmorphia, because they see airbrush photos of like fitness influencers, or they see how people look and they think this is how I'm supposed to look at all times, when that's not how it works. Okay? That's not how it fucking works. You're looking at an unrealistic expectation. Now, I'm not advocating to I don't know, stop Photoshop or anything like that, or I'm not advocating to abolish the way that magazines work or the way that media works and where every frame is supposed to be perfect. I'm not saying that at all, but I hope that people can understand that is not how that's not how the real world works. And for me, it's like you have to be a complete shut-in. Okay. You have to be a complete brain broken shut-in who is so far removed from having any real world experiences that you think, well, I don't understand. Like, where you're like, I don't get it. What's going on? She's being a catfish, I think. It's craziness. It's actually fucking nutty. I feel like there was some semblance of social pressure that used to exist where if you had attitudes like this openly, other people would check you. In a group of friends, if you were like, yo, you see that Sydney Sweeney photo, dude? Like, she looks busted in it. Other friends that you used to have in the real world would probably be like, yeah, dude, that's normal. I don't know if you've ever encountered a woman or whatever, or just a human being, not even just a woman, just a human being in general. Like, that's normal. They're not always going to look the way that they do in a fucking photo that you jerked off to. Stop being gay, dog. That would be a normal conversation to have in this situation. You know, I'm not saying I would exhibit this homophobic tendency, but like, you know, that's how it would work in a normal situation. But because people are only online nowadays, yes, there is this social degradation. We have become more degenerate. As someone who works on and edits photos all day, there's been this big shift outside of the modeling industry to embrace the imperfect. I think fashion and movies and branding is slowly following suit, but these coomers stop the momentum because they are the dumbest consuming whales. Yeah. To be fair, the men making these comments are supermodels. Yeah. Well, for them, obviously you don't have to be, right? Obviously, for men, they don't have to be. They have to just be successful. And even if they are not successful, that also doesn't matter. Even if they're fucking shut-in losers, okay, with no discernible footprint, and the only thing that they're doing is just like yelling into the fucking wind, it still doesn't matter. Because as long as they say stuff like this, they get affirmation from other men who are also, losers in the same way. And that makes them feel like they are reaching some level of success. This is the model for the Naughty Dog game, by the way. Tati Gabrielle. But here's the other side of this, okay? Here's the other side of this. A lot of this stuff stays online. The problem is we are all becoming more online. We are losing sight. We are losing sight of what it means to not be online. We're losing sight of like what it means to exist in the real world. And things online are increasingly changing the real world as well. So I am very fearful of what this spells for the future of interpersonal relationships, culture, societal attitudes broadly. Because in the past, like, there was a level of shame that people could enforce upon you, a little social shame. There's another point you're not bringing up, and it's that men will focus on women's appearance as a form of control. No, absolutely. I addressed the way that patriarchal constructs work in this circumstance, but you're right. That is another aspect of this as well. It's like, oh, if you're scantily clad, then you need to put on some clothes. And if you're not fuckable and not jerk-offable, then, you know, what the fuck are you doing? You need to be an object of my sexual desire. It's gross. 1000% Skyrim modding created these incel losers. They want to mod women in real life too. Holy fuck. What the hell is this? KS Hairdo is a hair pack that contains 983 hairstyles. The Eyes of Beauty SSE, official port of the TOB SSE with permission from Logram. 66,000 upvotes. 5.3 million downloads, 6.8 million downvotes, 6.8 million downloads. Expressive Face Gen Morphs SE. No third places in the US has all of us isolated. That's why these takes aren't just instantly shamed into oblivion, because now instead of shame, they get retweets and upvotes. Yeah, by other like-minded fucking losers. And also, that creates a permission structure for this kind of sentiment to thrive. And that permission structure makes it so that other people look at that and go, well, I don't know if this is a normal person or a fucking troglodyte pervert saying this, but other people seemingly agree with it, you know? Other people seemingly agree with it, so maybe it is the correct thing. What is this? They are DEI gender swapping. Thank you for sending me your rubbish. Go watch some cosplayers turn trash into treasure. Wait, have you never seen a mod site? Instead of cool improvements like we used to get modders, just add tits lol. And the other part of this is that Blue Sky post that I saw yesterday that someone sent me that was really interesting. Apparently, this is almost identical to that study that was conducted. I don't know if you guys know this, but there's that one famous study where, like, in business environments, women that speak significantly less than men are still seen as speaking more than men. You know what I'm talking about? And it seems like there is like women are almost always seen as getting more time to speak, even if they speak significantly less than men. And that's because, like, it's the idea is that women are not supposed to speak at all, or at least, like, you're trained into thinking that they're not supposed to speak at all. So when they do speak, you're like, oh, okay. It's not even like this outward bias, right? It's implicit. It's something that you don't intentionally lean into. You just kind of feel like it's the truth. Yes. It's because women speaking is out of the ordinary. We're naturally more likely to notice abnormal events. That is the nicest way to put it. Okay. Now, what's really interesting about that, if I recall correctly, that stat is that women speak 30% of the time. They are perceived as having spoken for the majority of the time. Yeah. So what's really interesting about that is that because the gaming space is so, historically so focused on tailoring to this, catering to the specific needs of, like, men in general, right? Even when you have like any female roles, we think like, oh, this is happening a lot more than I'm used to. And I think that's a big part of the problem, because there were stats on this, and apparently it's like 7% of all new games that have come out have a female protagonist. And I think, like, the LGBT tag on Steam is even lower than that. It's like 1.3% or something of the new games that have come out. Yeah, this is the Jacob Geller post from Blue Sky. Here. Fascinating video on Steam trends, especially these statistics of all the games released in Steam in 2024.
Did you know?
It seems that just 2.5% had the tag LGBTQ+, and 7% had the female protagonist tag. This is supposedly the political trend that is overwhelming and destroying gaming. That's what they are saying. Now, it has increased, right? It is certainly increased. But the irony is, it's not necessarily a major increase that these gamers are complaining about. Now, you might say these tags are fucking bullshit, okay? And that there's a lot more female protagonists that are out there in all these games. But I'm not so inclined to believe that. I think we just treat non-female protagonist games as invisible, the norm. We don't see it in the same way. There's that famous study about men perceiving women as dominating the conversation in situations where women spoke half as much as men. These stats are even more absurd. Can you explain this by referring to the fact that men and masculinity lack subjectivity? Performativity has rendered men a lost identity. Yeah, this is the video. I scraped the entire Steam catalog. Here's the data.
Know that half of the top 50 games on Steam are indie titles? Or that there are only 4 fighting games with a romantic theme? Here's a fun one. Did you know that the word life appears in more game titles than death? Yet war is mentioned twice as often as love? Today, we're diving into the data and exploring some fun insights into the game development.
Anyway, this is just like a very nerdy but very cool video from Newbie Indie Game Dev, okay? That basically scoured the entirety of the Steam catalog and created these like data clouds, word clouds, like all this stuff to just like see where the space of gaming is, like what the space is, what the space looks like. And I think it's pretty valid to look through the Steam catalog. Is the most comprehensive catalog out there. Obviously, you know, I love data 127. I don't love data. Stop. Reactionaries don't care about data. They only care about the vibe dog. Yeah, I know. What is 127? It's my high score that I got on the autism test. Okay, that's what they're referencing. But I think this is the most interesting aspect of it. You know, the notion that only 2.5% had the LGBTQ plus tag and 7% had the female protagonist tag means at least like the female protagonist one is the most important one in my opinion. That means that games are still overwhelmingly featuring male protagonists. Now, the argument here isn't to fucking be like, no, it has to be 50-50 or anything. I don't give a shit. Okay? I don't give a shit at all. I want games to just be good. And if games are bad and you're feeling like games are becoming bad, when I don't even necessarily agree with that, I think the space has grown and absolutely ballooned in size in comparison to where it was when I was younger. Okay. As an old man at the age of 33, like, I never would have thought that gaming would get to the positions that it's gotten to, where you can have like a singular developer make a fucking multiple award-winning game like Balatro. Like, that's crazy. Okay? I'm 33 years old, and when I was growing up, you got once every fucking decade, you got like this world-changing game. You know what I mean? Now you can get it in a week.
X has published its first transparency report since Elon Musk acquired the company, formerly known as Twitter, in 2022. Before Elon's takeover, Twitter released detailed transparency reports every 6 months, covering takedowns, government information requests, content removals, and policy violations. The last report from Twitter, published for the second half of 2021, was 50 pages long. In contrast, X's latest report spans just 15 pages, though government request data is separately maintained on the company's website to comply with legal requirements. Comparing the 2021 Twitter report with the 2024 X report is challenging due to changes in how metrics are tracked and reported. In 2021, Twitter logged 11.6 million reported accounts with 4.3 million accounts actioned and 1.3 million suspended. By contrast, X's latest report shows over 224 million reports, including both accounts and individual content items, resulting in 5.2 million account suspensions. While reports of abuse and harassment remain high, other categories show significant shifts. For instance, in 2021, hateful content accounted for nearly half of all reports, with 1 million of the 4.3 million actioned accounts flagged for such violations. In Access report, only 2,361 accounts were actioned for hateful content, a stark difference. This disparity may reflect changes in access policies under Elon's leadership. The company rolled back several rules, such as those against misgendering, dead naming, and COVID 19 misinformation, potentially affecting how violations are categorized. If you found this video interesting, then make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more videos like this, and thanks for watching.